So, you want to be a Venari master, and you want to catch them all? That's great. But first, you need to know some basics first. So let me show you some nifty tricks and tips I've found during my first few days of playing Legends of Venari. Number 1. Saving gold. In the early game, you might be trying to use the more expensive baits to try and catch rarer Venaris. However, this is a good way of running out of money fast, because spending 500 or 2000 gold on the more expensive baits is not really that cost efficient. Each caught tier 1 Venari gives around 1100 to 1400 coin, and in the beginning your catch rate is not that great, so using the expensive baits will cost more money than the gold rewards you can get from catches. So I suggest to stick to using Oriya berries, especially in the beginning. Another way to save money is by not bringing any food when you try to catch Venaris. If you bring any food to try and catch the Venari, you will consume or use 1 unit of that item even if you don't use the feed option during the catch. In a similar way, if you do want to bring an item to feed the Venari, even if you feed 3 times straight, it will only consume 1 piece of that item. Now, if you didn't know these tips and you accidentally spent too much money and are bankrupt, don't worry, the devs have put a failsafe for this particular situation. If you have less than 5000 gold, you can click the plus sign next to your coins and trade 10 energy for 3 Oriya berries to help you make some gold back. Tip number 2. Buy the new rigs as soon as possible. The different kinds of rigs are pretty expensive, so you need to save up some gold for these. You can find the newer rigs in Lyra, the improved rigs in Miralatown in Aina, and the advanced rigs in the Auric Grasslands. I'm not currently sure if there are any more rigs, but from what I know, these are the available rigs currently in the game. The basic rigs cost around 5k each, the improved ones are 10k each, and the advanced ones are 20k each. My general advice for new players would be just to use the Oriya berries at 2 energy locations to farm EXP and gold fast, because each Venari gives you roughly the same amount of EXP and gold per catch, with only a few points difference if you get rarer ones. Try and rush levels to get the Lyra as soon as possible to buy the rigs, and when you hit the world level to go to Aina, go there immediately, buy the new rigs, farm a little bit more gold, then get to Auric Grasslands and get the advanced rigs there. I would also suggest the Lyrium and Alum rigs first, because you will barely use the feed action to catch Venaris, as you will want to save on some coins by not using as much bait. And my last tip, tip number 3, learning the mechanics together. So because Legend of Venari doesn't have a tutorial or Wikipedia page yet, and this game is super new, it is great to talk to fellow players on Discord, or if you are part of a guild, consult your guild members on tips and tricks that you guys are learning as you go along the way. But I'll share with you some of the mechanics I learned while playing the game in the short span that it has been released. Let's start by talking about actions, namely feed, play, and fight. Each of these actions has a percentage chance to work on certain Venari. The same actions might not exactly work the same way twice. For example, for this Algala Venari, I use fight 3 times, which leads to excellent odds and a successful catch. However, the second time I meet this exact same Venari, I attempt to use fight 3 times as well. As you can see here, I fail my third attempt and get lower catching odds with only a good odds of catching. I also then fail to capture the Algala. Aside from this, there are certain actions that work on some Venari better than others, so you need to read the success or fail prompts. For example, if the Venari says it completely ignored your bait, then you might be using a bait that doesn't work on this particular Venari, as compared to trying to feed the Venari and failing, but the prompt says the Venari hungrily watched as you offered the bait but decided not to trust you. So the difference between these two prompts could mean the difference between success or failure in future actions. Now let's move on to catching odds. So far, the catching odds I've seen are poor, moderate, normal, good, and excellent. And getting to certain odds doesn't guarantee a successful catch, as I have failed catching a Venari even if the odds are excellent. Different Venari can also start at different odds. Most T1s start at normal, and from what I've seen, T2 Venaris usually start at moderate. A lot of people always use the 3 actions when trying to catch Venari, but that is not always the best case scenario because failed actions can decrease your odds sometimes. So usually, I will do the first action first, see if it succeeds. Like here, it turns to good, so now I will try again. And if that fails, I will usually go for the catch, because failing twice might revert my odds back to normal. If the second action succeeds though, then I will attempt the third action because 3 times successes might increase my odds to excellent. Now, this strategy depends on your rigs that you are using, so you should formulate your own strategy on maintaining the highest odds before catching a particular Venari. Now let's take a look at the Venaris themselves. So if you find a Venari like this one, and you see a number on it, that means that this Venari is one of the first 100 Venaris caught of its kind. So make sure you guys double check your Venaris and see if there are any numbered ones so you know if you're one of the first ones to catch this particular Venari. As for the rarity of Venaris, there are 3 kinds or tiers of rarities of Venaris. In order to tell the tier of the Venari, you have to look at the dot beside the name when you're about to catch them. So green is tier 1, blue is tier 2, and purple is tier 3. Tier 1s are just the common Venaris, tier 2s are a little bit rarer and usually have a more unique look and a background when you catch it. Tier 3s are the rarest type of Venaris and are usually extremely difficult to catch. You will know when you see one because it looks super unique and different from its lower rarity counterparts. And those are the most basic tips and tricks I can give to you for now. I hope it helps you out and you learn something new, especially for the newer players. I'm still learning the game and almost everyone is discovering new mechanics and new Venaris every day. I haven't even seen a tier 3 yet so far during my 2 weeks playing the game, but I've just worked my way towards getting the advanced rigs, and now I am saving up money for the expensive baits to hopefully catch more tier 2s and tier 3s. If you enjoyed this video or learned something new from it, don't forget to like and subscribe. If you have a strategy or tip that you want to share, be sure to share it in the comments section down below. Thank you all for watching. This is your Captain Solthos signing out. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye!